Welcome back to Legal Matters with the American Law Firm and WIFR. I'm Mike Garrigan with 23 News, and our guest is attorney John Hansen with the American Law Firm. As I mentioned earlier tonight, Legal Matters is a half-hour informational and news call-in show devoted to a variety of legal topics of interest to State Line viewers. We have attorneys standing by right now to take your call. At the number on your screen, they'll provide you with free information regarding your issue. So call now and throughout the next hour. Our opening statement tonight concerns a couple of specialized topics that are of great importance for anyone going through them. One is criminal defense law, the other is immigration law. Attorney Hansen will guide us through the important aspects of each topic to make sure the crucial decisions that need to be made are also the most informed decisions. Before we get started, though, let's talk about reminding the viewers of the multiple practice areas that American Law Firm concentrates in. American Law Firm is a general practice law firm that concentrates in divorce and family law cases, bankruptcy matters, personal injury claims, criminal traffic and DUI issues, wills, trust and probate matters, and real estate and business transactions. So please feel free to call tonight, discuss any of those practice areas with the attorneys standing by live. Now, first of all, John, tell us a little bit more about the American Law Firm.
Sure. And I want to thank you for having the American Law Firm on your show.
Oh, it's great to have you.
We appreciate being here. American Law Firm is based in Rockford, and we're located near the intersection of Mulford and State. And like you mentioned, we are a general practice firm, which means we practice many different areas of law. And we have a reason why we're called the American Law Firm. We believe in American values of hard work, respect for every individual, no matter their background, no matter their problem. And so we approach each case separately, and we spend a lot of time on each case to give somebody the best legal representation possible. That's why we're called the American Law Firm.
And we see a lot of lawyer shows on TV, but so many people have never experienced going to a lawyer.
Right.
Can you tell us a little bit more about kind of easing that situation for anyone that has wanted to go but has some concerns?
Yeah, we recognize that it takes a lot of guts, a lot of courage to come to a law firm and to speak to sometimes a perfect stranger like me and talk about personal issues and legal issues, and we respect that. And so we try to make it easier for people with a couple of things. For example, we offer free consultations where they don't have to pay for it to come in and speak to one of our attorneys and talk about whatever issue they have and let us kind of brainstorm with them on what options they may have. And if they retain us, we will often offer a simple flat fee for our attorney's fees, where they'll know at the beginning how much a case is going to cost as opposed to getting a big bill at the end. And like I wanted to mention, as you mentioned, there's a number on the screen right now. People can call and actually speak to one of our attorneys on the phone now and get some information while the show's on.
Yeah, it's a great asset you might as well take advantage of. And we mentioned in the opening statement one of the area of law that your firm practices is criminal law. What are some basics you'd like the viewers to know about criminal defense law?
Sure. This is a really sensitive area of law to practice, as you can imagine. There's so much at stake with every single case because be it an aggravated felony or misdemeanor, there's going to be sometimes jail time at stake, large fines, and other significant punishments that can really affect someone's life. A conviction can cause someone to lose their job, it can cause someone to lose their family in some situations, and the ripple effect is enormous. So we take each case very seriously. We sit down with each client, talk about exactly what happened for their arrest, for their charge, and work through every detail of the evidence to see if there's a way we can get them a good result. Now,
you mentioned so much at stake, so you really want an advantage in any way you can. What kind of advantage does having a skilled attorney bring to criminal defense law?
Well, at our firm, our attorneys have practiced in just about every kind of area of law and criminal defense you can do. We've done Class X felonies all the way down to DUI and traffic cases. Our team includes a former prosecutor from the state's attorney's office, so we have the advantage of knowing how that side operates and how the defense operates. And so we'll use all those skills and background to really put together a proper defense, whether it's a plea of not guilty or whether it's a plea of guilty to try to get some kind of positive result. So that's one of the ways we approach it.
Now, let's say I get a call from the police to say they're investigating a crime. What do I do? Do I just answer questions, or what should I do?
Very important question. The rule of thumb is if you're contacted, if anyone's contacted by a police officer or a detective who's conducting an investigation, the best thing to do is not to speak to them without an attorney present. If someone, a viewer or someone they know is in that situation, they need to call us and make an appointment to come see us so we can give them a free consultation on what to do. But basically, if you're approached, you tell the police officer or the detective show them your name, show them your ID, you have to do that, and then simply say, look, I see you're conducting an investigation, I don't have any experience with that. If we go any further, I want you to talk to my attorney, and leave it at that. So that's always the best approach.
But when you say I would like to have an attorney present, does it give that impotence that I feel like I'm guilty or that I have something to hide?
Yeah, it can raise the impression that there's something to hide if you say that, but raising that impression is much less damaging than actually not having an attorney in an interrogation than accidentally saying something that might actually get you in trouble. Right. You know, if you're in an interrogation with a police officer or detectives, things get pretty heated. People can get flustered and they get stressed out if they don't have anyone there to help them. And they might actually misremember a fact or misstate something and then actually lead to something growing and actually getting charged with a crime. So much better to have an attorney there that can guide you rather than just risk raising a thought.
Right, with so much at stake again, covering your bases is important.
Mm-hmm.
Well, right now, as the segment is being shown, we have attorneys standing by to answer legal questions from callers. The number again, you see it on your screen, 815-394-1776. Viewers should call the number right now to speak with one of the American law firm attorneys. They can discuss their options. And when we return to Legal Matters, we'll switch gears and tackle the topic of immigration law with John Hansen.
Picture experience. Legal experience in many areas of law. Dedication. Giving full attention to each client and their individual legal needs. Affordability. Offering simple flat fees and payment plans. Now picture the American law firm. Call the American Law Firm today at 815-394-1776 for your free consultation. Our country was founded on a Bill of Rights which set a bold standard for the protection of individual rights, a standard set for the rest of the world to follow. At the American Law Firm, you also have a Bill of Rights as a client. By offering free consultations, simple flat fees, and payment plans to our clients, we deliver effective legal solutions to your problems and goals. Call the American Law Firm at 815-394-1776 to learn more about how we represent our clients and how we can protect you.
Welcome back. It's Mike Garrigan and attorney John Hansen from the American Law Firm. We're continuing to talk legal matters that affect many state liners. If you want to talk to an attorney right now, live for free, just call the number on your screen and an attorney from the American Law Firm will be on the other end of the phone to answer that call. And again, that's all live and all free. And now, John, you mentioned that the American Law Firm handles immigration law. What exactly does that entail?
We do. We just brought on actually another attorney that specializes in that area. In general, the practice of immigration law focuses on working someone through the process to become a citizen, primarily, and then also obtaining visas for certain people for certain needs. Those are kind of the two areas that you'll see us work on.
Okay.
And there's a couple scenarios that are most common. One is if we're finding someone coming to our office who's already entered the country and not recognizing the laws in place, and we'll have to try to work the system in a way to get them here legally. Right. And if someone's already here legally and wants to bring a family member over, that's another scenario too. So you have different kind of camps that come in, but those are the two most common.
Okay, and we hear a lot of terms on the news like illegal, undocumented, permanent residence. Right. What are the key terms people need to know?
Well, there's a couple of key terms when it comes to legally recognized persons. Mm-hmm. The first is naturalized citizen. Naturalized citizens means somebody who's worked through the process that's in place to become a regular citizen. And the other most common label that is talked about is called a legal permanent resident, otherwise known as an LPR. That's someone who's obtained a permanent legal residence but hasn't become a citizen. People that have green cards are falling into that category as immigrants. Now, some of the terminology.
Okay, so how can a person change from undocumented or illegal to that legal permanent resident?
Well, you know, if somebody's already in the country and not legally recognized, then it's very difficult to become legally recognized within the country. But there are some exceptions to that, particularly if somebody's here but they have a family member, an immediate family member who's also here and who's here legally, then that person who's here legally can sponsor the other person to come in. And there's a couple steps I can run through real quick. If somebody has an immediate relative who's a citizen, then that relative can file a petition with us to the immigration system and petition to sponsor that relative. They have to show that they're here legally, and they have to show that they actually can support the person they're petitioning financially. So there's some hurdles to jump through. That starts a process. If that's granted, then we can petition to have the person actually recognized as an LPR at that point. It's a little complex.
A lot of specific cases too, so that's why it's important. If you have a question, you can call a lawyer live right now at the number on your screen. Now, we talked about criminal law earlier. Now, how would that impact, if someone had a criminal conviction, how would that affect a person's trying to get legal permanent resident status?
It does affect it. I mean, if anyone viewing or knows anyone that is in that situation, they need to call that number right now or come see us, because it's a very time-sensitive issue.
Okay.
And if somebody has been arrested and is being charged with a crime, and they are here in a not recognized legal status, then the charge can actually affect them attempting to become a citizen or attempting to become an LPR. There are ways that can still be addressed, but the charge itself is an obstacle in a lot of cases. Certain crimes are much more of an obstacle than other crimes. I mean, felonies, drug possession charges, what they call crimes of immoral acts, things like that are hard to get around. And so people should definitely come and see us for a free consultation. We'll look at whatever they're facing and tell them what steps they have available to them to try to get around that and still be a resident somehow.
Okay. I know there's people out there that maybe live in the U.S. and they want to sponsor a family member living in a different country and try to bring them here, immigrate them to the U.S. How does that work?
Well, the process would start with us determining what status the person who's living here has, whether they're a naturalized citizen, as I mentioned, or whether they're an LPR. If they're a naturalized citizen, they have a little bit more options as to who they want to bring over. It doesn't have to be just a spouse or a child, for example, if they're a citizen. And we can discuss with that person the petitions we have to file and the approval process. And if they're not a citizen, but they're an LPR, they have a green card, they can still sponsor to have relatives come over, but the pool of relatives is narrowed to spouses and children. And so we'll walk them through what the process is as well. So different options for both of those camps.
Okay, we've covered a lot of areas. Is there anything you want to conclude with to kind of tie things up here in a couple of seconds here?
Sure. I mean, the American Law Firm, like I said, we have a general practice, and we practice many different areas of law. We invite viewers to call that number and talk to one of our attorneys. Also, the number might be busy, so keep calling tonight. We're going to answer phones up until 7:30 and a little bit after that. So call after the show's over as well.
Exactly.
And we'll walk people through their options and give them some time to talk to a lawyer.
And you do get a lot of calls, so even if it's busy and you keep trying, you can try during regular business hours as well, right?
Yep. Come in for a free consultation and we'll sit down with you.
Okay, that's perfect. Well, thanks a lot for your time.
Thank you.
All right. Well, once again, lawyers from American Law Firm are standing by right now to take your calls. We'll be back with a closing statement when Legal Matters returns.
Our country was founded on a Bill of Rights which set a bold standard for the protection of individual rights, a standard set for the rest of the world to follow. At the American Law Firm, you also have a Bill of Rights as a client. By offering free consultations, simple flat fees, and payment plans to our clients, we deliver effective legal solutions to your problems and goals. Call the American Law Firm at 815-394-1776 to learn more about how we represent our clients and how we can protect you. Picture experience. Legal experience in many areas of law. Dedication. Giving full attention to each client and their individual legal needs. Affordability. Offering simple flat fees and payment plans. Now picture the American Law Firm. Call the American Law Firm today at 815-394-1776 for your free consultation.